Our second award goes to Mr. Edwin Bush. For the past 36 years, Edwin A. Bush Jr. has exemplified what the Distinguished Merit Award embodies. He's demonstrated distinguished professional achievement as a clinician, educator, and as a role model for service for the profession. Sandy, as he's affectionately called and known to many, has served for every PATS president since 1985. He served on the executive board as the South Central representative, was a member of the Pennsylvania Board of Physical Therapy Athletic Trainers Advisory Committee, and has been involved with several accreditation, self-study, and planning committees for athletic training education programs. Currently, he serves on the Governmental Affairs Committee, the Hall of Fame Committee, and the History and Archives Committee. Outside of PATS, Sandy volunteers in his church, in addition to being a guest speaker for many local high schools, colleges, and professional healthcare organizations all across the Commonwealth. Awarded the Northern High School Education Service Award in 1998 and our very own PATS Service Award in 2003, Sandy has become the voice of reason for many members of PATS, PATS presidents, committee chairs, and curriculum directors statewide. He developed and implemented one of the first Christian college accredited athletic training education programs in the country and has mentored over 200 athletic training graduates. Sandy deserves the Distinguished Merit Award for his excellence as an athletic trainer in the college-university setting. He is respected and admired by parents, student-athletes, coaches, administrators, and medical professionals alike for his vision, service, and character. Sharing in this honor this evening with Sandy is his wife Sheila, oldest son Eddie, his brother Bill as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my mentor, colleague, and friend, and now 2014 Distinguished Merit Award winner, Edwin Sandy Bush.
Yeah, thanks, John. It's good to have a student that, can support you like that. First of all, I want to thank a few people for this award. It's not necessarily what I've done. First and foremost, I want to thank the Lord for giving me an interest and a passion for athletic training. I started back at Lock Haven in 1972. Started in health and physical education because basically that's about the only thing we had to start in. And then along came Dave Tomasi and started an athletic training curriculum. And I think that really fueled my passion for athletic training. Other people to thank, I got to thank the PATS board and the Honors and Awards Committee. I know how much work it is to put these things together and get through this kind of a banquet with this many people receiving awards, and it's a lot of work. Thanks to my close family down here in the front, Sheila, my wife, thanks for putting up with me for all these years and letting me do the athletic training thing. My son Eddie, appreciate you being here, and Bill. And Bill and Sheila were at Lock Haven with me, and they both played sports, and so you Lock Haven people, give them a little golf clap. My brother Jeff Shields, brother from another mother. I got to thank you for nominating me, and Jeff, it'll be your turn next year. Thank you. My PATS colleagues, we don't just do these things without people back at your college or institution or place where you work, without people filling in for you and doing a lot of your work while you go and you travel. I remember serving on the PATS board, and I think Steve Heckler and I drove the state of Pennsylvania about 15 times, and these people covered for me while I did PATS board business. I have to just mention real quick, Julie Emrine and George Roberts. You guys remember the secret conclave meetings we had down at Harrisburg before the State Board of PT meetings? all the things we had to discuss to try and get an agenda forward. And how is it now that we serve at the pleasure of the PATS board and not the pleasure of the PT board? So you had to do some of that to realize what that really means. I have to say a little shout out for Steve Heckler, because I'd been involved with PATS and done different committee work, but I was serving for the State Board of Physical Therapy. One day I get a phone call from Steve, and Steve said, and he didn't know me by the name Bushman then, he called me Edwin or Sandy or something more formal, and he said, hey, I know what kind of work you're doing down there at the PT board, and you're so into getting licensure in Pennsylvania, but you know what, big boy? You can come down and serve on the PATS board with me, and you'll have 10 times the effort getting licensure for athletic trainers in Pennsylvania with the PATS board than you will with the PT board. Why don't you take a couple of days and think about it and get back to me? That's the only thing in my life that I've ever done ahead of time, was send in my resignation letter and call Steve and tell him that, yeah, I wanted to serve on the PATS board and work on getting licensure. So I thank you, Steve, and thanks for coming up to, see some of us get our awards. Appreciate that. Lastly, I want to thank Dave Tomasi. You Lock Haven people who were fortunate enough to know Dave, what a great guy. What a mentor. What a professor, athletic trainer. I don't think a day goes by when I don't flash back and think about Dave. And he has impacted every athletic training student that ever came through Lock Haven in the same way. And I wish I could put his picture on this plaque, because he certainly deserves that. Last thing, and I'll finish. Do we have any Quiz Bowl people out there? Put your hand up. Question for the Quiz Bowl people. Who was the first PATS Hall of Famer at Bucknell University? Come on, man. Hal Biggs. Okay. I'm going to leave you with this story about Hal Biggs. I was the Honors and Awards Chair, and I was responsible for sending out all the information on the students who were applying for a scholarship. Hal Biggs was on our committee. He probably was on there for 40 years, I don't know. Hal Biggs would send his stuff to me, snail mail, every time. He was consistent, handwritten notes. He would call occasionally if he wanted to, explain something. I think it was my third or fourth year as the Honor and Awards Chair, I got a letter from Hal. I'll never forget this. He said, Sandy, I'm sorry, I think I have to resign my position as a member on the Honors and Awards Committee. I just feel like I don't have the energy and passion to continue to serve on that committee. So I felt, well, yeah, he's probably getting up there and maybe it is time, and that's great. Sent him back a letter thanking him. And then I found out 3 or 4 months later, we're planning for this banquet, and I found out that Hal Biggs passed away of cancer. So I say that and I share this story with all of us. We were there. Some of you who are there now who haven't served, you haven't even been on a committee, I just want to let you know that, if someone like Hal, his last year of his life, who was still serving on a PATS committee faithfully, if he had time and he had energy to still do that, I think we can all find time and energy to serve on at least one committee, and I'll be honest with you, you will be rewarded back 10 times with the pleasure you get from serving with the people in PATS and athletic training, and it's such a blessing. So thank you very much. Thank you, board, and thank you, committee.